Because I had so much fun embarrassing myself with the words for Russia, we're going to try Japan. So don't laugh at me too much, okay? But we're going to see if we can at least learn a little bit about Japan today, okay? Welcome to Japan. It comes from our Capital Area District Library, which is in Lansing, Michigan. Where is Japan? If you could look down on Earth from high above, my cat's trying to get in the picture, you would see large land areas surrounded by water. These land areas are called continents. Some continents are made up of several different countries. Japan is an island country off the continent of Asia. See, here's Asia. And right here, South Korea, where the Olympics are going on right now. And here's Japan. Japan is a beautiful country that's full of interesting people and places. But did you know that Japan is made up of 4 big islands and thousands of smaller islands? Thousands of islands make up Japan. They can't show them all here because they're too small. The land. Most countries are made up of one piece of land, but not Japan. Japan is made up of thousands of islands. The islands were formed long ago when huge volcanoes erupted under the ocean. Hot melted rock called lava spilled out underneath. When the lava cooled, it hardened to form the islands. Most of Japan's islands are very small. Only 4 of the islands are big enough for people to build cities on. Hokkaido is a big island on the northern part of Japan. It is covered with mountains and forests. The island of Honshu has Japan's highest mountain. It is called Mount Fuji. The island of Shikoku gets lots of rain. Kyushu has the warmest weather of all Japan's islands. Did you know Japan is a country that has lots of earthquakes? Every year there are about 1,500 small earthquakes or tremors all over the country. That's like 4.5 earthquakes a day. That's a lot of earthquakes. Plants and animals. Each area of Japan has different plants and animals. Bears and deer live in the forest of Hokkaido on the island of Honshu. People who go hiking sometimes see eagles. Some areas of Japan have beautiful cherry trees for people to enjoy. In the mountains, people can see red-faced Japanese monkeys. These monkeys are known as macaques. Macaques are also called snow monkeys because they live in colder areas. Did you know many Japanese people raise bonsai trees? The trees are very small and are grown in pots. Many people like to trim and shape their bonsai trees so they look different from everyone else's. So bonsai trees could actually be shorter than this book is. They're not very big. And there's a macaque in the snow. Thousands of years ago, Hokkaido was connected to Asia by a land bridge. Right here, this was all connected. Researchers believe that a second bridge may have linked Kyushu to what is now South Korea. So there was a connection here, and there was a connection here. At one point, it was all connected. Long ago, the first people came to Japan about 18,000 years ago. But how did they get there? Long ago, the oceans weren't as deep as they are now. Much of the world's water was frozen into ice. In some places, pieces of land connected the continents together. These pieces of land are called land bridges. People could walk from one continent to another without having to cross the ocean. They just walked right across the ice. Over time, the ground slowly warmed up, the ice melted, and water covered up the bridges. The people who had walked to Japan had to stay. That is how people came to Japan's islands. The land bridges may have disappeared, but today lots of human-made bridges can be found in Japan. So they're not natural anymore. Now we can make our own bridges. Japan today. For a long time, Japan has been ruled by emperors. An emperor had a lot of power over the people. Today, Japan's emperor is not very powerful. He does not make rules for the country anymore. Instead, Japan's laws are made by its parliament, like in England. The people in Japan's parliament talk about how their country is doing. They make laws to keep the Japanese people safe. They also think of ways to make Japan a better place to live. So a group of people get together and they help decide how the country is going to be run for the best for all the people in Japan. This is the Japanese Parliament building, and this Parliament building is in Tokyo, one of the largest cities in Japan. The people, about 127 million people live in Japan, not just 127. We have like 325 million people in America, so it's about 1/3 the size of America as far as people, but it's a much, much smaller space. So that's a lot of people living in a very small space. Most of them live near the coasts of the big islands. If you visited Japan, you would see mostly Japanese faces around you. That's because in Japan, almost everyone is Japanese. That kind of makes sense, huh? Manners are very important in Japan. Japanese people believe in being polite and treating others with respect. They try to help each other and be good neighbors. Being kind to other people is a very old and important part of Japanese life. Are you guys nice to each other? Are you polite? You could learn something from the Japanese if you're not, but I think your mom has raised you right. Many people live in Tokyo, Japan's capital city. This is a market in Japan. They shop for fresh vegetables and homemade goodies, yummy. Japan's big cities are usually crowded, busy places. Space is very limited, so people often have very small apartments. You can see down here, there's not very much space in the places where they live. City life and country life. In Japan, almost everyone lives in cities. The biggest city is Tokyo, on the island of Honshu. Most cities' families live in apartments. These apartments are very small. That's because Japan's cities are very crowded. In Japan's cities, families must learn ways to save space. Out in the country, there aren't as many people. Many Japanese country dwellers live in wooden houses. Usually, these houses are in towns. Some families live on farms. Country people try to help their neighbors and be good friends. Did you know the Shinkansen, or bullet train, Shinkansen, is a special train in Japan. It's one of the fastest trains in the world. It can go up to 160 miles an hour. That's really, really fast. When you're in the car, you go like maybe 70 or 75 miles an hour. It's twice as fast as that. Schools and language. Japanese children start school when they are 6 years old. They learn math and social studies just as you do. Japanese students also study art, music, and computers. In the upper grades, Japanese children learn how to speak another language, English. Japanese children work very hard. They even go to school on Saturday mornings. Does your mom make you go to school on Saturday morning? Japanese children learn 2 alphabets, and they need to learn about 2,000 characters. We only have 26 letters in the English alphabet. They have 2,000 characters to learn. These characters are symbols that stand for sounds or words. It takes that many characters to write in Japanese. Japanese is not an easy language, but it is very interesting. Writing some Japanese words is like drawing pictures. And when you speak some Japanese words, they sound just like what they mean. For example, kiki means squeaky. Doesn't kiki sound a little like squeaky? And goru goru means rumbling. It's like rumbling in your stomach. Guru, guru. Students at elementary school in Yokosuka work. In the cities, people work at all kinds of jobs. Some people work in stores or banks. Others work in offices, hotels, and hospitals. Many others work inside huge factories. There they make things such as cameras, computers, and cars. In the country, Japanese people have other jobs they do. Many people catch fish. They're fishermen. Others make boards and papers from trees. Many other people grow crops, such as soybeans, rice, tangerines, and apples. There are also people who work at small shops and restaurants. We've got a gentleman up here working on a car. We have people out here fishing, and this person is working at a fish market. A family has dinner together at a restaurant. The food in Japan. Japanese people like to eat different kinds of food. They eat lots of rice and vegetables. They also like to eat spinach, mushrooms, and a kind of radish called a daikon. Sushi is a very popular dish. It's made of fish and rice. People in Japan eat and cook with special sticks called chopsticks. They hold 2 chopsticks in one hand and use them to pick up food, like this gentleman little boy is doing over here. Japanese people like to drink tea. It is served everywhere, in restaurants, in offices, and in homes. Japanese tea is pale green or brown. It is served plain, without sugar, milk, or lemon. Yuck, I wouldn't like that. I like sugar and cream in my coffee. Norma likes her tea just plain, though. She's a good tea drinker. Pastimes. Judo, karate, and video games were all invented in Japan. Did you know video games were invented in Japan? I'm not sure I knew that. People in Japan also play baseball, volleyball, tennis, and golf. Another popular Japanese sport is sumo wrestling. The art of paper folding is called origami, and it's a popular hobby. Has your mom ever shown you how to fold up a piece of paper to make animals or to make different things out of the paper? That's called origami. Many Japanese children enjoy watching television and playing computer games, just like you. They also read books, magazines, and comic books called manga. Some restaurants have stacks of manga for grown-ups to read while they wait for their meals. Here's 2 boys that are taking a break outside and reading comic books. And here's a Japanese baseball team. Holidays. Japan has many different holidays. November 15th is the 753 festival. On that day, Japanese children who are 7, 5, or 3 years old get to put on special robes called kimonos. Kimonos are worn only on special days. The Cherry Blossom Festival comes when the cherry trees bloom. Families picnic under the cherry trees and look at the beautiful blossoms. We also have a cherry festival in Washington, D.C., where we have some beautiful cherry trees. The people of Japan mix the old ways with the new. In Japan, you will see a hamburger restaurant next to a Japanese tea room. Children wear blue jeans every day, but for holidays, they wear their special kimonos. Japan is a wonderful place to learn about mixing old and new ways together. Here 2 girls are enjoying a laugh together on 753 Festival. And they must either be 7 or 5 or 3 because they're wearing their kimonos. Fun facts about Japan. It's about 145,868 square miles. That's about the size of California. Population, as we said, is 127 million, about a third the size of America. The capital city, as we said, is Tokyo. Hiroshima and Kyoto, Osaka, and Nagasaki are other important cities in Japan. They use money called a yen. Their national holiday, or the birthday of the emperor, is on December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas Day. Their national flag is a red circle surrounded by white. The red circle represents the beautiful sun that shines on Japan. The person in charge of their government is called the Prime Minister, and there is an emperor called His Majesty Emperor Akito. So, that is what I can tell you about Japan. See you later.